epoch that is right after all the extinction of the dinosaurs, and the Earth at the time was virtually empty with only these little tiny mammals roaming around in a dense forest. And at the time, the Earth started to transform as well, along with all its habitat, and these giant forests start to emerge, and our ancestors find it most suitable to roam around the trees, to get away from all the predators, and start to really explore the diversities of the habitat around the forests. And at this time, the Gardenosia is unique for its large eye sockets, which means that they have to develop large eyes and are enabled to see during night, and they're presumably nocturnal. But one unique feature that is also a key characteristics of all of us is that it became omnivorous. That means it eats everything. And this is very crucial in terms that and here I'm trying to demonstrate that he shows its curiosity around a spider. Ultimately, it'll eat these insects to retrieve all the proteins that is crucial to enable the growth of the brain, and that is very important for for how we actually become us, is to enable the primates to develop larger brains and become smarter, and they become ultimately inquisitive and curious about their surroundings. And all of these prototypes, all of these archetypal behavioral characteristics start to develop around the time when we were still monkey. So going back to some 50 million years ago, our ancestors will look something like this. And they became gregarious, they become highly political, like all the monkeys that we have still today formed their troops, and always led by some kind of troop leader, usually alpha males. And all of these features gets inherited, and ultimately gets inherited into us. So going back to around 50 million years ago, our ancestor will look something like this, a Gardenosia. Here's a BBC computer image showing a Gardenosia. It looks sort of like a lemur, a very distinct primate-looking creatures. And this is another image from that BBC's computer image. And in here also it shows a very crucial feature that I mentioned earlier with the cynodonts. It's that they care for their young very much, and all of these parental cares is, I think, a defining feature, and gave us a evolutionary competitive edge, because caring for their young from an evolutionary point of view is crucial for the whole species to survive, because at crucial times, at dire situations, that the youngs is really the defining feature if they could live, and that's all the difference it can make. Okay, the next stage is crucial in terms of human evolution, because here's a Australopithecus afarensis. The Australopithecus is really the missing link between human and apes, and this is the first time that our ancestors came down from the trees and walk on upright and become bipedal. And Australopithecus is actually half human already from waist down. It is completely erected with human-like legs, but above the waist is still ape-looking. And because at Australopithecus times, which is about the geological time period called Pliocene epoch, some 4 million years ago. So 4 million years ago is really the transitional period from which humans diverge from apes and start to walk upright. And really the impetus of all of this change still goes back to an environmental change. At that time, the earth became drier, cooler, and so much of these forests just simply disappear. And these group of apes simply cannot sustain themselves primarily by roaming around the trees and by their comparatively large sizes to the other monkeys, they have to come down from the trees and roam around the savannas and vast amount of land masses in Africa and start to explore and to make a new kind of living style. Even though during the nighttime they still go up on the trees and make their nest and sleep on the tree, just try to avoid all the predators around. And that's still an atavistic behavior. But other than that, they had became the pioneers of all apes and the progenitors of all humans today. So in this way, they're revolutionary. And also in here, I'm giving him holding an apple as a double meaning. First of all, the apple represents the fruit of knowledge. They start really to explore the surrounding environments and to really explore their all type of knowledge that they can accumulate. And on the other hand, I'm trying to demonstrate is that humans, along with a few other primates, is really the first one to develop the vision of discerning all colors, because most animals cannot detect colors. It is only some primates, out of necessity from natural selection point of view, they have to discern all the different type of fruits in order to exploit their habitat. And human, with that competitive edge, came down from the tree, can really start to explore their surroundings and their environment. But this is by no means to say that Australopithecus are a successful species at its time. It's still very much the underdog around their surrounding, still dwelling around the bottom of the food chains and just trying to eke out a living merely. And it was a very tough environment, but they managed to become quite successful for a few million years. So this also demonstrates their versatile resilience. Also, their Australopithecus still inherit these primate gregarious behaviors, social behaviors, is that they form troops and all led by a alpha male. And here is actually a museum representation of a real life Australopithecus. So going back to some 4 million years ago, our ancestor would look something like this. This is actually a direct ancestor of all of us. You can see that they walk completely upright and bipedal, so they're pretty much all human from waist down. But from waist up, and especially the facial features, still very ape-like. And this picture is from BBC's documentary. This is just to show you how miserable their life could be. This is a junior-sized Dinotherian that could already jumped on these Australopithecus. So they get bullied all around. Look, this is if this is you and I, and this is our girlfriend. This is how we're gonna eke out a living. These Dinotherians simply huge and terrifying. Basically, Dinotherian, Dino means terror, and Therian means beast. Look, these Dinotherians are just gonna bully these Australopithecus just with no problem at all. And here's my little interpretation of Dinotherian. Just imagine how large they are at the time. If you were back then, you're only about its neck. And the way I try to interpret these megafauna is that usually I give them a look of their arrogance, that they simply look away. You're simply a piece of monkey shit to them that they don't even think about. So this is just to demonstrate how hard, how tough it is in terms of human progression. We really came from a long way, and for much of our progression in terms of history, we're still the little guys, the underdogs, but managed to eke out a living still. So it really sheds some light on the philosophy of life, really.